he sees me fight Gib and what I do to Gib, I think he's gonna be scared to fight me because he's gonna be like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna walk away with the W because I know Jake is gonna beat me. I'm calling it now.
Jake said this in 2019. What is the difference between a duck and a goat?
All I want for Christmas is a knockout.
One of the greatest fighters of all time, Jake Paul.
The qualities of resilience, challenging, pushing oneself higher and higher, overcoming obstacles. A duck is a creature that can function on land and on water. It's very comfortable. It surrounds itself with friends and like-minded people and doesn't challenge itself. So, let's break it down. In the biggest event in amateur boxing history, KSI defeated Joella by technical knockout. In the match, we saw KSI undergo a fabulous face turn from a heel position in the build-up. True Jordy reminded KSI that he was supposed to call someone out. KSI took the cue and said,
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. Bring it. Where's Real Ferdinand?
KSI fans like to point to this moment and say, because Jake's name was said first, it must mean that Jake Paul ducked KSI first. The first person to say this was Vidal Riley, KSI's trainer in his early career, and it has been easily parroted ever since.
You have to remember, when JJ put it out there, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, Jake was not interested, right? And that's why Logan stepped up and said, I'll fight you. Yeah. Jake wanted no part. He wanted to fight his little brother, so don't come back 2 years later because you had a bit more experience.
Wait a minute!
What I would say, Bruce, to be fair to you, is if JJ boxes Jake, he will lose.
Yeah, correct.
And for you to sit down and say, I think Jake can beat JJ, are you being unreasonable? Of course you're not. But I'm never going against my.
We could go into the legal definition of an offer, but that would be boring. So I have the distinct privilege of having the greatest fighter of all time tell us exactly how an offer works.
That's not how offers work. Is that how you guys do business in Canada?
Yeah, that's it.
Because in my country that created business, offers expire.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. Bring it. Where's Real Ferdinand?
What we see is KSI qualifying his initial offer by saying Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. What we also see is KSI fans denying the duck, but admitting conversely that KSI was ducked first, therefore KSI is allowed to duck now. But is this true? KSI defeated Logan Paul in November 2019. Jake tearfully swore to avenge the loss for the Paul family.
To KSI, he grabbed me literally by the neck and was like, you have to beat KSI. I felt like
KSI obliged and stated that since he beat the older, quote-unquote, better brother, Jake Paul had to go through Anison Gibb first. This is easily the first duck, and it's only 2019.
Quack, 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 quack. KSI is knocking on the door of Jake's career. It's coming, but I'm gonna let Gib do it first. And if Gib don't do it, and I swear to God, Gib, if you don't fucking do it, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. But if Gib don't do it, boy, I'm gonna kill you, Jake. I'm gonna kill you. You're a better boxer next year.
It's a duck because Jake Paul already defeated Deji, who is KSI's brother, and damn near ended Deji's entire YouTube career in the process. So, in January 2020, Jake Paul makes his professional debut. Jake Paul destroys Anison Gibb in the first round, and Eddie Hearn vowed to never touch you to begin. It was that bad. KSI was in the audience supporting Gibb, and he made his way into the ring right after the match. We all saw KSI call Jake Paul the N-word and shove him, and the entire YouTube world waited with bated breath for the biggest fight in YouTube history. Then COVID hit. This was March 2020. The entire world was plunged into uncertainty and everyone wondered what was going to happen. But Jake never stopped training. KSI, on the other hand, always made sure to mention that there was lockdown, so he can't do much.
For me, it's kind of like waiting for this pandemic to be over. But I'm actually waiting for this lockdown to be over so I can get back into training.
Jake made constant offers to fight KSI in this time. KSI repeatedly priced himself out of negotiation, and he admits as much.
Now, there's no rush. I'm gonna keep fit, I'm gonna keep training, and I'm gonna keep doing my thing. And at the end of the day, once I get the amount that I want, then we'll fight. Simple.
KSI hid behind his music.
Out the way and shows, festivals. I want to get all of that out the way before I can get in.
So Jake Paul went with Nate Robinson, fought and defeated him.
Another Sidemen hide and seek. Today we are at Hamley's.
Cheers, boys and girls, to a great victory. The first KSI hide and seek win.
Jake made another offer to KSI. KSI said he was too busy making music.
So I know I have to pick one or the other, and right now I'm just picking music because that's what I can do. That's what I'm able to do, and then eventually, once the album is out this year, and once I'm fully sorted with everything, then I can focus on boxing and really make sure
So Jake fought Ben Askren.
Fucking, it's been a while. Anyway, today we're gonna be doing a Reddit video by Jake. Don't. Oh!
Jake Paul had gotten his name out there by calling out UFC fighters with the belief that he could defeat any of them in a boxing match, from Conor to Khabib to Jorge Masvidal.
I want Nate Diaz, who's a bitch. He tried to come into my locker room.
Sean O'Malley went on record to state that for Jake to be taken as legitimate, he has to beat Ben Askren.
He has to beat Ben. He has to beat Ben to show he's a legitimate boxer. God, I hope Jake doesn't come in there and try to put his lights out in the first round.
First round. Called it. And so I'm gonna do exactly. I'm gonna end this guy's career as an embarrassment. I think he'll be easier to beat than Nate Robinson.
Jake Paul defeated Ben Askren in 2 minutes. Everyone suddenly remembered that Ben Askren was a wrestler and not a striker, quote unquote.
The MMA world, and I've seen it, they're convinced. So many podcasts, they're like, Ben Askren is going to mop the floor with Jake Paul.
Wait a minute.
The dog would simply dip his head back into the water.
Quack,
familiar
quack,
territory,
quack,
quack, quack, quack away.
Quack, quack.
But a goat would climb even higher, and that's what Jake did. Enter Tyron, the chosen one, Woodley.
A combat sports legend with expert striking. Now, the fight critics said Jake Paul.
5-time UFC welterweight champion, 7 knockouts, future UFC Hall of Famer. While Jake was getting knocked almost through the ropes in Ohio, KSI was filming Sidemen speed dating.
You're a fucking bastard.
Jake won the fight with a narrow decision. The haters chipped up again. Fight a real boxer. Fight someone your own age. Fight someone your own size. So Jake went backstage and confronted Tommy TNT Fury, an undefeated professional boxer. They quickly agreed to fight in December. Both men were active. Both men were a similar age, height, and weight. Jake went back into training to fight a real professional boxer. But then, sad news, Tommy Fury had sustained an injury, allegedly, and it was not difficult to tell who the pressure was on, because Tyson took it upon himself to train Tommy and may have been a bit heavy-handed. Tyron Woodley, KSI was promoting his music and shooting Sidemen videos.
Oh yeah!
Oh wow!
Yeah!
Oh wow!
I got at least 2.
Was KSI a brand deal called Prime, and they went into business together, making millions.
This season,
KSI appeared on Impulsive and told Logan to his face that he hates his brother Jake.
But yeah, I think he's a cunt. Yeah.
quack, quack.
Meanwhile, Jake is by himself, trying to be the best in the sport that saved his life and trying to get to the top. The Doc had found a goose to collaborate with for easy money.
Ladies and gentlemen, this season.
The launch of Prime in the US, KSI had dinner with Logan. Jake was there supporting his brother, and KSI recalls how scared he was. Maybe not in those words, but there was no confrontation. So that's another Doc.
Could have gone very south, it could have gone very left. Luckily, no one did anything stupid. We kind of just stayed separate, did our things. I was with Logan, we were celebrating, obviously Prime. And Jake was just eating with his missus and his boys. And yeah, they were just doing that. I don't.
Wait a minute.
You're A-side. Nigga, get the fuck up.
Jake and Tommy agreed to fight on August 6, 2022. In the meantime, KSI has announced his boxing return for August 17, 2022 against Alex Wasabi, which he says is to avenge Deji's loss, which had occurred earlier in March. It will be recalled that KSI never spoke about avenging Deji's defeat until Alex Wasabi, who is patently an inferior boxer to Jake. That's another Doc.
Quack, 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 quack.
Alex Wasabi gets injured, and Hassan Rahman failed to make weight. So Jake Paul offers himself to save KSI's event and replace Wasabi on the main event. KSI is in the corner. He says so himself.
Wow, you're just gonna duck Jake Paul like that? Major L! Quack, 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 quack.
So here's a question to all KSI fans. If KSI was as good as he says he believes he is, would he not have taken the fight?
Guys, you forget this is a warm-up fight for JJ.
Wait a minute.
Out the way and shows, festivals. I want to get all of that out the way before I can get in camp and fight him.
KSI had 3 weeks notice to the event, and Jake agreed to all the weight and financial stipulations. However, KSI ducked, refused, and quacked on his channel. The inner Doc had come to the fore.
Quack, 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 quack.
Enter Wade Concept with the greatest damage control of all time. It's the biggest fight in YouTube boxing. It's big enough to even end YouTube boxing. It needs more than 3 weeks of build. As a person who has been in this scene from the very beginning, I asked myself, like many fans did, KSI and Jake need to go on a tour like McGregor did with Mayweather? Isn't there sufficient bad blood already? Didn't Jake beat Deji? Didn't KSI beat Logan? The build was already there. It's inbuilt. Anything else would be artificial. So this was an artful dodge that many people seem to buy. Not I. KSI quickly snatched this lie and ran with it. Wembley Stadium, he says. 2023,
and I was just like, cool, let's make this fucking happen.
Yeah.
Next year, Wembley Stadium,
yeah.
2023, let's go.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, yeah, I've got to say he's a better boxer. I was like, yeah, all right, calm, whatever. You're a better boxer.
Jake Paul reluctantly agreed. He wanted blood immediately for his brother, for his family. But he had to wait again.
I fucking guarantee that. But you're a bitch. Hey, you're a bitch, and I hope you realize it. I hope you realize it when you look yourself in the mirror at night. Every fucking night you realize that you're ducking me and you're scared.
I see Logan as the better boxer. I'm not going to be overconfident. I know he's going to be harder than Logan.
For KSI's event, he decided to fight 2 people. A musician with whom he had made music before, and Luis Alcaraz Pineda, a boxer with a negative record. Some fans posited that the Bulgarian fighter would have been a much tougher opponent. Yet another Doc. Jake reluctantly agreed to wait another year for a fight he's been begging for since 2019.
And the greatest thing to ever happen to you was Prime, and my brother brought that to you, and you're lucky because the Paul family keeps blessing you. But I'll see you later, fuckboy.
KSI went back to making YouTube videos while Jake Paul climbed even higher and defeated the MMA GOAT Anderson Silva.
He took so many hard shots.
So KSI decides to get back into the groove of boxing, promoting his Misfits stable and arranging fights himself. KSI puts out a poll on his personal Twitter for his next opponent. Jake Paul is mysteriously missing from the poll. Jake's absence from that poll must be highlighted because at every Misfits event, KSI mentions Jake Paul's name as the final boss of his life in boxing.
And then breaking the next person, and then the next person, or whoever it is, and then eventually getting to Jake Paul.
Wait a minute.
Hey, your boy's trained too hard for this. I got an end goal, and that is Jake Paul, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
And everything he's doing is to defeat him, but he must build up to that level.
And then the next person.
Another time you'll see KSI saying that, I think I can defeat Jake Paul tomorrow. Okay, if you can defeat Jake Paul tomorrow, why don't you fight him tomorrow?
Why don't you just box him already?
For his next boxing opponent. On the list, Tyron the Chosen One Woodley, Dylan Dennis, Slim the Hitman Al-Bahir, Dr. Mike. Tyron Woodley won the poll with 38% of the votes from over 800,000 votes. Dylan Dennis came second with 31% of the votes on the Misfits card of January 14th, 2023. But KSI decides to ignore Tyron Woodley and opted to fight Dylan Dennis instead, even though Tyron Woodley had won the poll by a significant margin. Tyron Woodley flew to Saudi Arabia to confront KSI at the Mayweather event. Why would KSI disrespect a champion so much by using his name for clout, only to select a fellow gamer instead? That's another dog. KSI's fans clearly believe him when he says he's the best and he can beat anyone. But KSI ignores, dogs Tyron Woodley.
Even when Dylan Dennis came out, he never called me. Why would not the first person they called, right? Jake actually is fighting guys. Anderson Silva's me, Ben Askren's, and Mike Perry on backup is not he's a better and tougher opponent than Tommy Fury, right? So he has a harder fight if Tommy doesn't show up. So you really can't ever act like he's not really fighting real people, right?
And goes ahead to get a first round knockout on Face Temper, who literally stood there and just got hit.
Gaddy hasn't seen.
Luckily, fans pointed out that there are other Misfit staples who KSI should have fought instead as a challenge, such as Slim the Hitman Al-Bahir or Salt Papi, whom everyone is afraid of, except Jake. Jake then got into a Twitter Spaces with KSI to ask him finally if he would fight him in 2023. KSI said yes, in the most roundabout way possible. Jake asked when. KSI said ending of 2020.
It's just a waste of time. Why don't you just give the fans what they want? It's a waste of time. Like, even Mr. Beast comes on your podcast and is like, yo, why don't you just fight Jake? And you're like,
Jake is visibly frustrated because he has had these conversations with KSI before, and he predicted this years ago.
I think. Well, why don't you just box him already?
After he sees me fight Gib and what I do to Gib, I think he's gonna be scared to fight me because he's gonna be like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna walk away with the W because I know Jake is gonna beat me. I'm calling it now.
If KSI is so confident, why doesn't he fight Jake in the summer?
Quack, 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 quack.
It should be noted that since 2021, whenever the topic of boxing came up, KSI was always asked one question: when are you going to fight Jake Paul? Mr. Beast has asked him this question. Everyone asks him this question. And he always has an answer that prevents him from fighting Jake Paul. Music, sidemen, sides, vodka, YouTube. Jake is now due to fight Tommy TNT Fury, and it looks like the fight is going to happen, finally. KSI ran on IG Live and said that he wants to fight the winner of the February 26th bout. That's another duck, and that's a prayer from KSI.
KSI is ducking Jake Paul.
If Jake is improved or seeing what he's going to do, seeing what he does, see if he wins. And if Tommy wins, then I'll be fine, Tommy. Simple as that.
Wait a minute.
That's the final end game, isn't it, Jake Paul? That's the one. That's the end game, ladies and gentlemen.
After all this, how can anyone not see the difference between a goat and a duck? The goat moves towards the challenge, tries to rise above, overcome the obstacles. KSI, or the duck, wants to be comfortable, wants to do the things that are easy. Our prayer on this channel is that Jake defeats all his opponents and becomes a world champion. Jake wants to avenge his brother and redeem his family name, which is highly respectable. Jake is already a champion, an honorary WBA champion, a boxing bullies champion, a champion of women's boxing, an Ohio champion, and a champion in all our hearts. A shining example that should have full determination and drive, and anything you set your mind to accomplish, you will. That is the lesson that Jake Paul has taught me. That is the lesson he's teaching all of us. Don't be a duck, be the goat. Thank you all for listening. Subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I also host a podcast called Sango Brotherhood Podcast on Spotify. We have videos on YouTube. We're on Google as well and on Apple. So leave a like, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Out.
So JJ, you have to box, collab, and cancel Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, Jake Paul.
I'll box Mr. Beast. Easy dub.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
There's ones where I beat Logan Paul, I fight a Jake, and then I keep going, and then all of a sudden there might be an opportunity where I do fight someone for a world champion.
Because I know as soon as I fight Jake, it's done.
Gay!